When it comes to making animated movies, pretty much nobody does it like Pixar. Ever since they first blew the world away in 1995 with their first feature film, people have been debating, how do you rank the Pixar movies? Not only are we gonna answer that question, but we're gonna make it even harder with our one per franchise rule, so get ready for a lot of heartbreak in this top 10. So hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Pixar Movies.
Number 10.
After taking us through the world of toys, Pixar's second ever feature film showed us A Bug's Life. If anybody remembers the movie Three Amigos, that's a lot like what this film is. You got a group of performing circus bugs who everyone else thinks are warrior heroes, but when a gang of bad guys comes into the picture, they've got to become those heroes for real. When you compare it to all the other incredible movies this studio's made, A Bug's Life is just okay by comparison. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a solid movie, but it doesn't really smack you with those big heartfelt moments like Pixar's best films do. And also the next runner-up was Cars, and like heck am I putting that in this top 10? Besides, A Bug's Life has retroactively become an even better movie because the Kevin Spacey character gets what he deserves in the end. Bonus points for cathartic insect deaths.
Number 9.
11 minutes and 33 seconds. I swear, nobody talks about the movie Up beyond the first 11 minutes and 33 seconds. Yes, that montage is a real heartbreaker, but every time I get to the big finale, I always go, wait a minute, how did we get here again? But you know what? Up would still deserve this spot even if that opening was all it had going for it. It's still got great characters, some of the funniest moments in any Pixar movie, humble opinion, and I am all about the whole concept of flying your house away to some mystical far-off land. But then, like, there's a dog fight that's got actual dogs, and they choose squeak toys to fire machine guns, and, how did we get here again?
Number 8.
Monsters, Inc. is one of those amazing ideas for a movie that everyone can connect to. Every child thinks there's monsters in their closet, and every child is right. And it's not a premise that loses steam halfway through the movie. There is so much to explore in this rich world, but at the same time, the movie doesn't waste time to deviate from its core. Its precious, adorable core. I mean, how could you not love Boo? You really see these characters grow to love her and fight for her, and then we have the teary goodbye. Oh, my heart when she opens the door at the end and Sully's gone. Classic Pixar heartbreak. And that all comes after one of my favorite set pieces ever to be put into a movie, the chase that jumps through the doors that go in and out of the monster world. Oh, it's so cool.
Number 7.
Mom? Dad? Where are my parents?
Hey, if you thought Finding Dory was gonna be on this list and not the original, I'm so sorry, baby Dory. You may be the most adorable dang thing I've ever seen, but you and I both know you can't measure up to Finding Nemo. This movie offers up everything we've come to know and love about Pixar. It's packed with humor, has an emotional center driving the characters and story, and it takes us to a new world of animation under the water. Personally, I've always remembered Finding Nemo as one of the funniest Pixar movies. Between Dory, Bruce and his sharks, the Tank Gang, and Crush the Hippie Sea Turtle, there is so much to enjoy. And I mean, it's, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, I totally had a great final point to like drive this whole thing home with, but I forgot it. Hi, I'm Nick.
Number 6.
I love movies. I love watching them, making them, and talking about them. And one thing you've got to love about filmmaking is how visual this medium is. Yeah, I know it sounds obvious, but like these days there are so many movies that tell you everything through dialogue instead of showing you who these characters are. This is one of the biggest reasons I love WALL-E. WALL-E is Pixar's quietest movie, and it has so little dialogue for most of the film, but the story it tells is still as heartfelt and impactful as you would expect from this legendary studio. To this day, I'm still blown away by what Pixar was able to accomplish here. But if there's one thing to complain about here, it's that WALL-E's got a teeny bit of what I wasn't a big fan of with Up. Cause like, you're loving this silent robot love story, but then, oh, whoops, here's all these fat people rolling around the space station. How did we get here again?
Number 5.
Man, if you thought the 11-year wait for Toy Story 3 was a long time, The Incredibles didn't get its highly requested sequel until 14 years later. That is some serious cultural impact, man. The original Incredibles movie is a family film in the truest sense of the word. Anyone who watches it can find themselves in at least one of the characters. That could be Bob longing for the old days, Helen just wanting stability, Dash being told he shouldn't be his very best, Violet's crippling shyness, or Jack not being toilet trained yet. Hey, I'm not judging. It was so easy to fall in love with the Incredibles' art style, the retro spy thriller style score, and one of the very best villains in a movie with superheroes. Yeah, I said it. Syndrome even gives Thanos, Doc Ock, and Killmonger worthy competition. Just like Mrs. Frozone to her ice-powered husband, The Incredibles is the greatest good we are ever gonna get.
Number 4.
I'll be perfectly honest here, I was not super excited for Coco. It was in development for years and it seemed so similar to that other movie that came out 3 years prior, but then there I was in the theater on Thanksgiving watching this movie with my family and I just loved it, man. I was pleasantly surprised with how fun and vibrant everything in this movie was. And I know you can say this about every Pixar movie, but come on, it has incredible animation. On top of that, Coco honors Mexican culture and covers a lot of weighty themes like death and remembering your ancestors and the power of music. And even though it was kind of easy to see where the plot was going, I was still so engaged. In that moment at the end when Miguel is singing to Coco, oh, I will tell you, he was not just strumming on that guitar, he was strumming on my heartstrings.
Number 3.
Here it is, my own personal favorite Pixar movie. Ratatouille is such an oddball film, and I am in love with it for that. It got this rat named Remy who dreams of being a master chef, so he pilots the bumbling linguini like a Gundam, and together they cook food that changes both of their lives forever. But the cool thing is that for all the time the movie spends in the kitchen and around food, it's not about the cooking. It's about passion, whatever yours may be. Drawing, singing, programming, counting 10 things on the internet every week? I don't know, maybe some idiot out there likes doing that. But one of the very best things I can possibly say about Ratatouille is that the story doesn't feel like any other I've seen. Chef Skinner basically ends up getting his revenge in the end, the whole kitchen staff straight up quits, and the beloved restaurant gets shut down. But through it all, Ratatouille never fails to make me feel 3 things: wonder, nostalgia, and hunger. I still have no idea what Ratatouille is actually made of, I just know that I would eat that.
Number 2.
All right, this is the part of the top 10 that I've been dreading like a dip in a junkyard furnace because of our 1 per franchise rule. Buckle up, kids. We're gonna Old Yeller 2 Toy Story movies. Now, before everyone crucifies me in the comments, just remember that your pain is my pain too. Okay. When I look at this trilogy, Toy Story 2 is like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. But 1 and 3, both of them are 10 out of 10 free. So with only 2 movies left, we're gonna settle this the only way that makes any sort of sense at all. A coin flip. Heads is Toy Story 1, tails is Toy Story 3. It's very scientific. Here we go. Well, there you have it. Toy Story 3. Ugh, man, like, if you could see my face right now, I would be looking like Fry after he was sentenced to death by Snoo Snoo. But you know what? I can live in a world where Toy Story 3 is 100% officially declared to be the best in the series. The original movie was about the fear of being replaced, but I would say that 3 took that to the next level. The fear of becoming obsolete entirely. Yeah, just about every Pixar movie can say that on some level, but let's face it, it's pretty tough to do it better than Toy Story 3. And even though some people would say that 3 preys on our nostalgia for the other movies too much, that actually makes its themes about growing up and moving on from the past, which is something that literally everyone's got to do at some point, way more impactful. That's why the ending of Toy Story 3 always makes me freaking cry, just 10 minutes after another scene that always makes me freaking cry. Even more than I want to cry from kicking Toy Story 1 off the list, but still not quite as many emotions as number 1.
It's number 1.
There was a time when Pixar could do no wrong. For 15 years, this powerhouse of animation put out hit after hit after hit. It was amazing! The summer became a time to see what this studio had in store for us. And then Cars 2 crashed into our lives, and it seemed like Pixar was content with making sequels. It was, dare I say it, a bleak time watching monsters go to college and curly-haired redheads change into bears back into their moms. Yeah, Brave was okay, I guess. We weren't sure if Pixar was ever gonna climb back up to the top and give us something that would make us laugh and cry again. And that made us sad. That made us very sad. And then this wonderful, creative, and moving adventure came into our lives. Inside Out was such a breath of fresh air. It took something as complex as our memories and emotions and personified them in such a clever and masterful way. I'm not just talking about how surprisingly accurate it is explaining how our brains work. I mean that this movie dumps truckloads of feels on you. The competition for this honor is steep, but I'm just gonna say it. Bing Bong's death is the single greatest tearjerker moment in a Pixar movie. And most importantly, Inside Out makes the case that there are no bad emotions and that it's good to express your feelings, even sadness. Something this smart and well-made in the form of a colorful animated film is exactly why we love Pixar. And it's what makes them one of the greatest animation studios ever. And now it's time to break the rules with our secret number 11. Contrary to popular belief, Luxo Jr. was not Pixar's first short film, but it's for sure one of their most important. You don't see Andre and Wall-E be introduced in every feature film all these decades later, do ya? Without any camera movements, voices, or even facial expressions, Luxo Jr. still made you feel sorry for that poor baby lamp when his toy breaks. Aww.